Hello everyone. Today I want to share an experience that I had with a mantis bean, and although I don't really know much about this race or these beans, I'm going to talk about my experience with this particular bean because about 3 years ago I had no idea who these beans were, and for me the fact that they look like insects, like insectoids, and their appearance is not very appealing to what we consider good looking. So I always thought they were sort of like, like the reptilians, because they are reptiles. We have this connotation that they are all bad, and I'm sure there are some with lower agendas. Anyway, the same way, because of these beings look like insects, I thought they were low vibration. And since I've never had or heard of them or had an experience with them, I really didn't know what to think. So one time I heard this podcast. I believe it was a podcast or a video of this woman on Instagram that claimed to have a relationship with a mantis being. So I wrote to her and I said, well, I thought these beings were low vibrational beings, and she replied to me saying that no, that they are very loving, or the one that she has a relationship is very loving, and that they were sort of like doctors or like medics in the cosmos. And so I didn't know what that really meant. I just went with it, and I thought, okay, so that's her experience. That's great. So soon after, and this is again like maybe like 3 years ago. Soon after, I remember I started to have this pain on my lower stomach, I think. So the pain wouldn't just go away, and the pain kept increasing, and I just didn't know what it was. I assumed it was my liver, but I never really went to the doctor, so I just um, really just held this pain without doing really much about it. But one night, sleeping, I really couldn't take the pain anymore. And at that moment, I was like paralyzed on my bed. So like sleep paralysis is something that every time I have this feeling of not being able to move, I get really scared. Well, then it was the same experience. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, and I was really scared. And when I was able to open my eyes, right next to my bed, I could see this mantis being, white, very tall, with long arms, very skinny, and the claws. And if you don't know what a mantis being looks like, I'll probably just put a picture at the end, or somewhere, or maybe throughout the video. So, so this being was white, tall, very luminous, and he put me in this state of paralysis so I wouldn't move, because at that moment I saw his claw entering my liver area, and I was freaking out, and he was doing something. Again, because we didn't communicate in any way, telepathy or with words or in any way. He seemed to be just doing something. And when I felt the claw inside, it's not like I felt it, I just knew because I saw it. uh, I knew he was helping me in some way. Obviously, I didn't feel he was just doing something bad to me, but it was still intimidating to see this next to next to me, to my bed. So at that moment, I guess gave up and stopped the resistance, and I just let him do whatever he had to do. And finally, when I was able to move, he went away, and immediately I just felt that there was no pain anymore. And to me, that was really amazing, because I didn't know what he was doing. I just knew he was helping me, and soon after I realized that the pain was gone. Eventually, the pain came back months after, but it was different. It wasn't the same pain, and it wasn't as intense. And from time to time, I still feel a little discomfort, but not as much as back then. So years went by, never really had another experience with this being or with these beings. And last night, after also a few years of having a throat pain, I finally went to bed and I thought, you know, I really need to know what this pain is about. If there is something that I need to speak, anything that is bothering me that needs to be said. And I asked my body, would you please tell me what do I need to do? What is it that I need to learn, or what is the teaching behind this pain? So I connected to my Akashic records. I did my prayer, and I just went to bed. I just closed my eyes and just fell asleep. And about around 3 a.m., I was having this dream, and I was in this terrace, like in a building, like a house with a terrace, and there was this bar-looking thing, and I saw this being, this mantis being. But this is a dream, okay? And when I saw him, there was a feeling of resentment, and I thought, there you are. Like, it felt like he had done something to me without my approval. Although I understand now that, this wasn't a soul agreement, I guess, or whatever. But in my dream, it just felt like I was upset. And at that moment, I woke up. And I woke up and I felt, uh, I knew that it wasn't really a dream, although it was really a dream, but it felt so real. And as soon as I woke up, my hands or my arms were like this, okay, sort of like what a mantis looked like, and I felt this being inside me, and and as soon as I was able, well, I mean, I moved, my hand went like this, and it started to do something on my throat to the point that I really felt where the pain was. So I just knew that the pain was on this side of my throat, but I never really knew where exactly the pain was. So at that moment, I felt this thing, and I was like, oh, it's right here. And I actually saw it. And at that moment, I understood my pain, and for the first time, I was okay with it. I embraced that pain. I actually kind of like, it felt like I fell in love with the pain, and I was grateful for it. And all of a sudden, the pain was gone. And although I still feel a little discomfort, it's not as intense, or it doesn't really bother me anymore. So if I really want to look into it and go to a doctor, I will. But it just made a difference to stop denying the pain or trying to get rid of the pain, but rather accept it, embrace it, listen to my body, and just accept myself with it. And the pain is at least 80% gone. So my my feeling towards this being immediately just changed, because I knew he had been helping me all this time with my liver, now with my throat, and and last night I was a little confused about everything that was going on. So it felt like he invited me to a place where where he lived, and there all of a sudden I closed my eyes and I found myself on this beautiful desert, but that looked like an ocean. So instead of dunes, um, it looked like waves, but it was like a sand, like an ocean of sand, but it felt like clay. So it was in between sand, like in between a desert and an ocean. So like an ocean of a desert or something. It was in between an ocean and a desert. And I lay down on this place, and I could feel this clay looking thing. It just felt amazing, and it just felt like he was telling me, this is where this is my place. This is like my I don't know, planet, whatever. It just felt like he was inviting me to his home. and it was a beautiful experience. And then I just fell asleep, and I woke up with a lot of gratitude for having had this experience, because it just it just seemed like a dog is going crazy. So it just seemed like, uh, there are beings out there, whether we realize it or not, that are assisting our process, and sometimes we don't become aware of them. Sometimes we think, oh, it's just a dream, but because I guess we've been actually really doing our work on how to connect to these beings, any kind of being of high uh, vibrational frequencies, we were just, I guess, more open to see and feel these beings, but they're always there, and not just these mantis beings. I mean, all kinds of beings or energies really assisting our process, and it's amazing to know that you're not alone in this process. And I just wanted to share this because, again, I don't know how familiar people are with these beings, but now I realize that they are really magical. They are really helping in their own unique way, which is through health. And I heard this from this blogger, this woman, this influencer on Instagram, and I was like, they're the doctors of the cosmos. But it didn't really make sense because I have never really had an experience with them, so I didn't know. But now I get it, and at least that's my experience. Again, I don't want to impose any statement and say that's what they do. No, that's what they uh, did to me, and they helped me with like physical health, and it apparently they also have helped this woman as well. So anyway, that was my experience with the mantis beings. With this particular one, I'm gonna try to make a drawing and share it. Uh, he's just a beautiful being. I mean, and now that I think of the way he looks, he's such a beautiful being. He does look like an insect though. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, for always for supporting our channel. If you have any comments, if you have had any contact, or if you know anything about the mantis beings, please share it, post a comment. Follow us on Instagram, Starseed Twins, and just keep watching. And thank you so much for your time. Namaste. Bye bye.